Hello, this is Patty Becker, Goddess on a Coffee Break. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Empress. Empress in Tarot cards is a major arcana card, and she is marked as the number 3 card. So she comes up pretty early in the journey of the Fool through the empire of Tarot. The Empress is probably one of the more beautiful cards that we can receive in a reading. And it's a truly amazing card to connect with beyond the tarot system. As we will see, she is very multidimensional, not difficult to comprehend, but definitely worth checking all of her divine aspects. The Empress, in short, can be compared to our great cosmic mother. She is really a mother-like force in our life. She can even indicate a mother figure in a reading. Her multidimensional and multifaceted energy is expressed through the way she nurtures and cares for all living things. So she's mother to all the humans and all the animals and all the plants. And you can think of her as a mother of the stars and the universes. A mother of creative ideas. And of course, she is a wonderful energy and a great archetype to call upon for all things mother related. So motherhood and childbirth and healthy children and anything that has to do with the well-being of our family. Fact that the Empress is usually represented as a pregnant woman, with beautiful, calming colors. Yes, sometimes she does wear a powerful red, but nonetheless, the cards are never, aggressive or over the board. They bring some sort of inner peace and understanding. So, despite the fact that this card might seem to be easy to recognize and understood through the artistic interpretation, Lady Frida Harris, the artist behind the Thoth Tarot deck, had quite a problem with this one because there's just so many aspects of Goddess. Choosing one aspect of divine is really a pretty big undertaking. But if I can say that the card by Frida Harris, the Empress, is absolutely stunning, and it has gorgeous hues of peony pink and baby blues, and every part of this card is rich in symbolism. Even the Empress's hands form a specific symbol. It's really cool. I will let you know what that symbol is later on because it pertains to some of the rituals that we're going to do. So, the Empress is definitely universally recognizable in Rider-Waite-Smith deck. She is portrayed as a lady sitting on a throne with a beautiful gold yellow background, and it's kind of like sunny and gold and happy. She's dressed in a pure white dress, and her dress is decorated with the pomegranate fruits, which refer to many different symbolic things like virginity, passion, creativity. So all the Empress's cards are usually filled with sensual symbolism or colors that bring to mind power but also balance. And yes, there will be baby birds and bees and ducklings, puppies, all sorts of like happy, childlike energies. You can think of the Empress as a spring energy because she is really youthful and kind of fresh and juicy, and like she like starts new things and has new projects, the new possibilities and new paths. So you can think of her as the energy of new moon. So that is when we are starting something anew. So the Empress, you might notice in many pictures, has the moon as a part of the symbol on the card. Sometimes she holds it, sometimes it's entangled in her hair, sometimes she actually places her foot on the moon, like on the sharp edge of the moon, which might indicate that she is quite familiar with all sorts of divinatory measures, obviously cycles of the moon, astrology, and natural cycles of the years. And she might just really feel connected to the mysteries that control the earthly realm but are invisible to a naked eye. She makes me feel very secure when I look at her card. So I also would say that she is a wonderful energy to invoke when we feel a little bit nervous about walking home alone at night, or just when it gets dark and we're not sure what we're doing. When we need that kind of push forward, like we're gonna be okay. She's a great nightly guide to ask for. But let's go back a little bit to some of her amazing abilities. She is definitely, blood and bone, and she is pregnant. She is from this earth and of this earth. But at the same time, it seems like she is outside of this world. Like she should be in some sacred temples of chanting, singing, where there's these beautiful crystals and all sorts of reflective mirrors where there's just that energetic exchange and, natural flow of things, where she just can naturally recharge her batteries and kind of protect herself too, right? As a mother, she wants to be protective of all of her children, but she also has to nurture herself. She needs to nurture her source of energy, her sense of humor. She has to protect her boundaries. One of the things about the Empress is that just as much as she's giving and receiving, she's also readily available, but only if you ask her to make your acquaintance. Meaning she can be very easily accessed by like intuitive conversations and by simply setting an intention to meet her. But you also have to give something, some sort of effort, create a sacrifice, an altar, to invoke a meaningful exchange. Because Empress really holds so much space for our creative ideas that she is ready to hear us and then help us to plant the seeds in the right soil. She understands the earth and physicality, and she's so present in this realm. We can definitely ask her for protection and magical growth and fast changes, because she herself has holds many attributes of magic and power. She doesn't mind using the tools available to make things better for herself and everyone else. You will see that in some cards she would have shields and angels that symbolize protection and balance. on the Thoth tarot deck. She holds a blue lotus flower, which is known for divinatory abilities, but also for having mild psychedelic effects. Sacred plant of the Egyptians, right? She will have birds or trees or buds or flowers, and of course the pomegranates that are so important for all of that sensual experience. Sometimes she has pillows, definitely the moon. So check out the symbols on your card. Colors. What's there? What's there? Tell me, what's there? What's on your Empress card? Okay. So I promised I will share with you what the hand gesture represents. The best thing to do is, if you could see the card right there, that's the Empress from the Thoth tarot deck. And since this is the original deck, really, right away, Smith is right next to it, right? But this one is taking the whole alchemical transformation of human and spirit to a new level. So you will see a lot of alchemical symbology in this deck, and the Empress is one of them. And her hands are shaped like the element of salt. And before you are disappointed, salt is actually a really powerful and important component of our reality, of our biology. From the oceans to your tears, we have salt everywhere, and it's mandatory for our survival. So, of course, I would say that her hands are representing the symbol of salt in a rather symbolic way. It's not exactly the way it is portrayed in the alchemical books, but we know what this means. Salt pertains to life. The baby in the womb floats in the amniotic fluids filled with salts, right? And in alchemy, the salt is one of the three primal elements, the tria prima, alongside sulfur and mercury. And those three elements are related to the law of triangle, in which two components come together to produce the third. So salt represents in alchemy the physical body, the contractive force, the condensation and crystallization. It symbolizes the material aspect of existence and is associated with preservation and transformation and all sorts of processes of change. So that's why I am including a salt magic ritual for you guys. You will find the details below. So the divinatory meaning of this card, in my opinion, is easier to comprehend than that esoteric aspect of this card. So first of all, the Empress is a wonderful card to receive in a reading. She represents fertility, motherhood, maternity, creativity, feminine power, moon cycles. She can really get in touch with her intuition, mythical experiences. And to me, the Empress feels very wealthy, like Lakshmi style wealthy. Like she has that ease about all of that elegance and beauty and everything that surrounds her. It's just natural, just like pregnant women glow, that inner beauty, it's just amazing, right? So I think she definitely is a goddess slash tarot card. symbolizing prosperity. And she corresponds to goddesses Freya, Isis, Venus, Aphrodite, and Diana. So we can gather from that a good day to work with her would be Friday. And like I mentioned, I think that she is very strongly representing the spring, but I think that fall also is a great time to invoke the Empress because she likes gatherings and people and table full of great food as a result of bountiful harvest. She likes, good music. So that is because that Venusian aspect of her. And so we'll get to that. But, allow the Empress to bring you a feeling of luxury and abundance and relaxation to let your nervous system relax a little. So once again, back to a reading. When she comes in a reading, she can invite you to take a little bit of a break and regroup and allow like new energy to come in so you can gain new perspective or so you can look at your problem from a little bit different angle. And she might ask you to kind of honor the big milestones and your, hard and harvest. She also reminds us all that the life is made out of the little tiny things that really make things beautiful. The baby bees and bunnies and little babies and, beautiful lake and a sun, just small things that actually matter are the wealth and the true abundance of this life. What makes you invoke your inner Empress is going to have the characteristics of feeling nurtured and cozy. Think of like hot cocoa and a blankie and a book and just permission to give yourself the time to read a book. The Empress wants us to honor our hard work and remember that after we have spent any effort to achieve any goals, and yes, harvest is great and big and it's months of preparations, if not years, but daily goals, the little steps, you did go to the gym, you refused to eat that, chocolate because you want to, watch your calories. We need to give ourselves the graceful observance of our wonderful nature. And when we make those little steps of improvement, this is where we need to observe them. Otherwise, it's going to be so hard to keep going, right? So she also wants us to indulge a little here and there. If this card shows up in your reading a lot, maybe it's time to give yourself some break, give yourself some time to rest, let things to, come together to fruition on their own terms, at their own time. Don't try to speed anything up and just kind of cherish what is without trying to figure out what the outcome of it might be. The Empress invites, open-hearted playfulness. So taking on creativity of some sorts. Maybe you can find your creative outlet in making like cool dinners, like once a week. Get a cool Japanese cookbook from your local library, or maybe like your ancestral cookbook. Oh, that would be so perfect because you see, the Empress is about motherhood, right? So like all things related to your ancestry and your motherhood, motherline especially, because the emperor would be more about the like fatherhood and fatherly ancestral lines. But so creative task for you guys who are into like cooking: go to a library and pick up a book with intention to cook 3 meals from that cookbook before it's time to return the book. Not the whole book. Just pick 3 fun things. Easy. They don't have to be super complicated. But maybe you want to get like something that your ancestors used to cook. Like you have, well, if you're like Italian or French and you're lucky, that's going to be fun. But maybe you've got, like some more Native American in you, or, like just look into that. So that's a homework for you all. Let me know how it's going. So the Empress really represents, and you can take notes on that. So that's in a nutshell. New beginnings, creative projects, motherhood, nurturing, growth, improvement, applied intuition, self-expression, kindness, change for the better, good news, healing, self-empowering, sexuality, desires. So when the Empress shows up in a reading, it's usually a pretty good omen, if not great news. Of course, check with yourself how that card makes you feel, because not all so-called good cards can make you feel good. Maybe they have a shadow aspect in them that is at this moment stronger than their light aspect. So check with yourself. If your Empress looks like your mother-in-law, maybe it's time to kind of go through some inner shadow work and clear some things around. Just joking, but yes, check and see what really makes you connect or disconnect with your Empress card. Something specific that is appealing or unappealing to you, and then why. I can bet you that with time that's going to change, and you're going to find new aspects in the card that really are more beautiful than before or more interesting. In general, this card indicates that things are going in the right direction, that the conclusion to the problem or, the question for your reading is near, and that it's okay to take a respite before the work continues. Because you're gonna have to just do something with all of that energy and those new beginnings. You're gonna have a baby, right? So for now, you can indulge a little, have a little bit of fun, allow good things to come by opening to receiving. Invoke that Lakshmi abundance. Observe the value and the wealth and the abundance and prosperity in things around you, like the nature, the people that support you, the clouds that make a perfect day for taking awesome pictures outdoors. That's good stuff like that. So, of course, we do have that shadow aspect of the Empress, like with anything and anyone and all the people. We have the shadow aspect. You can kind of think about the shadow card as a reverse card. I like to use shadow aspect more than the reverse. As first of all, I'm using the Thoth Tarot deck, which was not designed to use the cards reversed. But also, I think that there is also a little bit of a warning even in the best of the cards out there. We all hold the duality and the possibility to reach the absolute enlightenment and absolute most darkest aspect of the self. So Empress in her shadow will be probably kind of restless, maybe unsure about her path, maybe uprooted, maybe she won't know where she came from, and she's kind of searching for the roots now, but she's not finding the source of her origins. She might be lacking directions, and she might be feeling kind of heavy or stagnant. She might indicate, this might indicate that the situation has reached like a final stage and she just cannot keep going like that. Things are literally too heavy. There is just too much of a feeling of being overpowered by the external circumstances. There is maybe just too much overindulgence or overgiving. Just generally things feel a little bit heavy. So since the shadow or the reverse card can indicate a creative impasse, that means that some aspects just need better nurturing. So it is not necessarily like a bad thing to receive the Empress reversed or to look at her shadow aspect, because that kind of gives us a feedback about the situation that has reached a plateau, and we need to make a decision what we're going to do next, because like you kept being pregnant for more than 9 months. I mean, sometimes it could be, extra couple of weeks, but generally you can be 13 months pregnant. You know what happens. And you cannot keep anything within yourself in that potential form forever. Like if you have a book in you, or a business or a partnership, or like something, like if you keep that always as a process of growth and you will never release that to the world, it just will never be born. What a terrible tragedy for all of us not to see the baby of your creative genius. So this card, the Empress, shows up a lot as a reverse card, or just even not necessarily reverse, just keeps coming on and on. She might be indicating that you need to bring to life something right now. So in a nutshell, the Empress reversed can indicate as follows: slow down, problems with creativity, problems at home, so like kids might be getting sick, knock on the wood, or just your spouse might be having a problem at work. So you worry for them. Insecurities about the self or a project. Sometimes it can indicate a female organ problems or being overly protective. It can indicate issues in the relationship, blocked sexuality, infertility, blocked intuition, and yes, a broken heart. And that one is kind of like that youthful first love, this fresh spring love, and that first heartbreak. If the Empress persists and she keeps coming back into your life over and over again, or whether she comes reversed, and you just want to understand how you can help her heal her current situation of overbearance and overindulgence and heaviness and lack of gravity, this is what you can do. You can definitely get in touch with the cards that are other aspects of the Empress. The helper cards, you can think of them as like hidden challenges or gifts that occur in your life to either point you toward the right direction or give you like literal tools so you can move things forward, and so you can like clear the air or do whatever you need to do to expand your consciousness, grow, heal, and so on. So of course all the threes in the deck are gonna be the Empress's helpers. Number 3 represents creative explosion without any experience or any specific purpose. And that's from my favorite book by Jodorowsky, The Way of Tarot. Creative explosion without any experience or any specific purpose. To maintain this kind of blissful explosion represented by the Empress, the threes of the Major Arcana are going to be also supported by Hangman and the World, because they both are number threes. I mean, they add up add up to number 3. Hangman is 12. The world is 21. 1 plus 2 is 3. So they are also suggesting how she can take it easy and move things forward to the next level by not pushing, but just being cool and awesome. So if you are like a numerological 3, or you have Empress as your personality card, or you're in the year number 3, this is going to be an interesting time for you to invoke the Empress. And of course, you can invoke her at any time that you are called to work with her amazing, nurturing and loving and mothering energy. You know, the Empress wants to express love. I mean, that is at the bottom line, what she is meant to do in this reincarnation. So she wants to express the universal love. She's got that world called, the universe called, as one of her expressions. So she wants to be the mother and the caretaker of all things. And she projects that love unconditionally, without judgment, to all the world around her. So, you know, the people, the natural world, you know, the stones and rocks and crystals, everything. So she needs to remember that her instinct to give has to be balanced with openness to receive. She has to learn to regulate her nervous system. She needs to stay grounded and connected to her body. It's not easy to invoke an Empress and embody her, because the Empress requires your body to be in full relaxation, in like blissful being, you in your body. And we have a very, you know, over toxified nervous system, and you know, we are bombarded with so much stuff, you know, and then on top of that, we are doing everything based by old belief systems. We're holding to old belief systems because we sometimes believe that we do it for the sake of love. You won't make the next step into your life to improve things for yourself and therefore for others, because for the sake of love, you're going to stick to what you already know. It's bad, but it could be worse. So for the sake of love, I won't make it worse. So she can do that to herself. Empress in her shadow, she can do that to herself. And for the sake of love, give that as an excuse for self-punishment and never moving forward with any of her projects. One day when things are perfect, I will be in so much love with myself that I will feed myself well and do what I want to do with my free time and meet with whom I want to meet. But until then, for the sake of love, I'm just going to stick around with this bullshit. And with Hangman, she is allowed to see things from a new perspective. Hangman really does not invite her into action. Obviously, he can't do anything other than change his mind. So he gives the Empress an opportunity to look at her situation from a broader perspective. And if something feels stuck, like she is unable to move forward with creative projects, or maybe there is a blockage in fertility, right? Some fertility issues. Sometimes we just have to stop trying so hard to get it and be there and just hang around and just let the mind hang around. And then the minor arcanas, the minor arcana trees are very helpful here, because they point to the exact issues that might be the source of Empress's sorrow. So this Three of Swords, that is the sorrowful card of the tarot, and it simply represents sadness. So she is lethargic and melancholic, and she doesn't feel like fighting for herself. So to overcome past sorrows and that broken heart and emotional disappointment, and to stop reworking those old wounds, she needs to find like an emotional forgiveness towards self, and then toward the events and the people, because those are obviously real things. She didn't invented them. Those are real wounds and real traumas, but just keep coming back to them isn't helpful, is it? She also needs to get in touch with her Three of Pentacles, which will help her become clear about her priorities. And then she can communicate the abundance that is obviously, a part of her entire existence. So she can communicate the abundance with the world. And it's abundance of feelings, but also abundance of ideas. And like it's being really a magnet for all sorts of fun, creative, amazing things that can happen. And then from that place, there comes the honesty and the dignity to speak up your truth and stand for what you believe with Three of Wands. And then the Emperor is an important part of the Empress too. We need to understand that. So the Emperor is card number 4. So he comes right next after the Empress. And he is her masculine counterpart. So like when she's a mother, he's the father. This is a totally hot romance of universal proportions. In alchemy, something amazing happens. When the salt and the sulfur come together, they connect to create a new quality. The sulfur is the fluid connecting the high and the low, used to denote the expansive force, evaporation, and dissolution. And the salt represents the physical body, the contractive force, the condensation, and crystallization. It symbolizes the material aspect of existence and is associated with preservation and transformation process. So as you see, the Empress and the Emperor enjoy a much more intimate relationship than we might expect of governmental officials. And when you follow the cards and the system, you will see they will get very hot together. I want to speak a little bit about connecting with the Empress. So working with the Empress is like working with the presence of a divine teacher from like any of the ancient mystery schools, sacred feminine schools. So she might be like a Green Tara or Mary Magdalene or Demeter, Venus, or Abundantia. Like, what do you want to invoke? You want to invoke some beauty and grace or prosperity? To me, she embodies all versions of like Holy Mary. Holy Mother. Like she is very much like Gaian. So you can place her card on your altar, or you can just keep it around to activate her blessings. You can play with the symbols that you can find on the Empress card and play with them in a way that will bring a better understanding of the divinatory meaning of the Empress. Of course, that depends on your deck and how detailed maybe and symbolic the deck is, but you will always find something in colors or shapes or facial expressions that can be a great way to connect with your card and ponder and reflect. So the exercise that would require a pen and a paper and about 20 minutes of your time is included in the SUBSTACK, and the link to that is below. It's a very simple and very cute little exercise for you to get in touch with the Empress. And also, I want to really quickly mention the Venus, because this is really important aspect of the Empress card. The Empress is ruled by Venus in Tarot system, and Venus loves beauty and art and elegance and optimism. And to ignite her magic, you can always find more balance and beauty just by simply decluttering your space, or maybe change your interior, or rearrange your space, or paint a room in a nice hues of peony pink or baby blues or something like that. So use sensual colors or candles or incense, because Empress and Venus, they love to indulge in all of their senses. You can honor the Empress by introducing a wholesome diet and taking on moderate exercise. You can budget and set aside some money for simple pleasures or family vacation, which would be also really something that the Empress would appreciate. Empress, just like Venus, is graceful. So this grace can manifest through a platitude of different fun things you can do. So you can, first of all, stop listening to things that make you angry. Turn off your TV. Grab something to do with your hands and focus your mind on some creative aspects, and stay away from people who want to keep going into pointless, arguments and disputes. It really, a lot of breaking news and people breaking their heads about who is right and who is wrong is very depleting for abundance, for beauty, for balance, for mental health, for your energetical, system. So taking practical steps such as engaging in artistic endeavors or nurturing connections with loved ones or cultivating self-love can significantly amplify your Empress potential. You can add beautiful things to your surroundings, but you can also, wear something that will bring the energy of the Empress. So you can wear something that has hues of pinks and magentas, emerald greens, emeralds, sky blue colors, any type of early spring greens. This can all activate the energy of Empress. You can experiment with red as well. You see how that goes. Of course, you can add some silver because the moon and element is there. So when you are in your creative process, feel free to ask Empress to keep you company, because she would absolutely love to. So if you're looking for healing and magical modalities for any troubled or depleted Empress energy, it could be inner work with your inner child, family constellations, especially when your mom would be in constellation, ancestral work, meditation, yoga, energy work, training, dancing, where you reconnect with your body, tantra. You can do, Venusian magic, Freya's magic, salt magic. Do healthy diet, juicing, something fresh and spring-like. Meditation, obviously. So in the Substack, I am including a lot of really good stuff. Several different ideas how to work with salt as a way to invoke the spirit. Also, bring the energy of the Empress into your vicinity. We have seasoning salts from the Magic Kitchen. And we have a salt ritual for dissolving negativity and obstacles. I am actually in the process of doing that one. I am in day number 8, I believe, of doing this process. And I don't want to say anything yet because interesting things are happening. But I'm intending to do it for 28 days. So I will let you know, guys, how that's going. There is also Venus magic, so we've got some ideas for pampering yourself and for enhancing diplomacy. Isis magic, because Isis is absolutely amazing to get in touch with. And then I do have some resources for you guys, so if you want to follow up with some ideas. This is all in Substack, and the link is included, and you can also talk to me directly because I'm gonna include all of my other information down there. So if you need a reading or get in touch about workshops, if you want to learn tarot with me, I would be happy to be that guide and an observer of your amazing evolution of consciousness through tarot and intuitive exercises. So I hope you enjoy meeting the Empress today. Don't hesitate to share your personal experiences with this card, with the Empress, or maybe with Isis or Venus or Freya, or just how you work your magic with the goddesses. I hope you all have a really good day or a really good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.